Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? So it's about damn time that we were able to test this guy on a decent category. So might as well take the opportunity and see how this guy does. So again, this is the LR Piccolo unit. It's probably been a while since there's been, content related to this guy because of, honestly, the lack of categories definitely does hurt him. You know, the Namekians and Rivals category do exist. However, with the Rivals category, it's a little bit difficult to include this guy because obviously the Piccolo fused with Kami is the leader for that category. And the Namekians, it's kind of like give or take. You can't really optimize the team as much. So, of course, Master and Student Bond category is out. And I think it does add a lot of value in terms of testing this unit out and seeing how he does on a newer setup on a team. And it actually does give you quite a bit of an increase in versatility in terms of teams you can include to partner up with this unit. So it's been a little while, so let's go ahead and cover the unit. So again, this is the free-to-play Super Intelligence LR Piccolo unit. Leader skills, pretty irrelevant. HP 150% increase. Super attack will cause colossal damage to enemy with the 12 key, and then the 18 key will cause mega colossal damage to the enemy. With the passive skill, it's a defense increase of 10,000, and all allies get a defense increase of 5,000. So on top of lacking an attack, any sort of attack increasing boost from the passive is strictly a flat rate for the defense as well. Now in terms of links, this guy does have Gaze of Respect, that's +2 key. Prodigies is 10% to attack. Brainiacs is 10% to attack and defense. First Awaken is 25% to attack. Shocking Speed is +2 key. Experienced Fighters is 10% to attack. The Legendary Powder is 5,000 to attack when SA is launched. 100% potential, you're looking at 19,300 for HP. Attack is 15,030. Defense is 18,100. 12 key multiplier is 135%. 24 key multiplier is 200%. So we do have a couple of different units that typically link up as much as possible with the Piccolo unit. Of course, this new category provides the opportunity to link them up with the Kid Gohan unit on a better percentage-based leader skill setup. So the Gohan unit at least does share some links like Gaze of Respect, and on top of that, this Gohan does provide intelligence type key +3, and then super intelligence type units get attack and defense increase of 40% as well. So definitely does help out the Piccolo unit. You want to pretty much maximize the opportunity to be able to get the 18 key with the Piccolo unit. So this unit definitely does fit pretty well in terms of having a rotational partner with that. Now the new future Gohan lead definitely does share at least the experienced fighters with Piccolo. That's 10% to attack, so every percentage can help a little bit. And in terms of the Super Saiyan Gohan unit, that's pretty much the same case. Really, the only link skill that the unit shares with the future Gohan unit and Piccolo is basically experienced fighters. However, it does help because the pre-transformed version, Master Student Bond category allies get +1 key and attack and defense increase of 30%. So that definitely does help increase some of the boost overall. And then for the Goase unit, Goase and Zamasu unit, you do have the Brainiac's link skill. That's 10% to attack and defense. That's a link skill they share. On top of that, allies get key +2 and defense increase of 70% as well. And the other unit is the Easy A Tech Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta unit. Of course, it's a massively great support unit. With the super attack, you get 30% increase to allies' attack for 1 turn, and then passive skills key +2 and attack and defense increase of, attack and defense increase of 30% to allies when there's 2 or more Vegeta family category allies on the team. So that's pretty much the deal with that. And then, of course, the Super Saiyan Future Trunks is literally just on this team because of the transformation requirement for Future Gohan. And it also does fulfill the requirement for the Tech Vegeta Blue's secondary passive skill to boost allies' attack and defense to activate. So that's pretty much the setup with that. And honestly, even with this setup where you are inclusive of a lot of supporting type units for Piccolo, there are situations where he still does tend to struggle a little bit to get the 18 key. So, I mean, it's better than what it was previously, honestly. But at the same time, he definitely needs some sort of improvement. And who knows, later down the road, maybe this guy will get, or LRs, really old LRs in general might get some sort of EZA at some point. We'll see. But this is definitely a prime candidate that extremely needs one on top of LR Goku, which is, the very first legendary rare character that came out in the game. So slightly better in terms of like output wise. I think even on a super intelligence team, you were able to get it upwards to about 1 million in terms of attack stats. But with the best rotation here is probably the Kid Gohan unit as well as the Tech Vegeta Blue, like you're seeing right now. Now, in order to keep Gohan and Piccolo in the same rotation, because of the theme of the Master and Student setup, you'll never see Tech Vegeta Blue in the first slot for that extra 30% to attack from his super attack. But even with that in mind, I mean, you're looking at 1.5 million roughly in terms of attack stats. So in this case, it was about 1.3 million. And honestly, it's definitely an improvement. Of course, it's a little bit lackluster comparison to a lot of the units that are out in the game right now. Even free-to-play units can produce much better output in some cases, especially if they're an LR. So, this guy definitely is meant strictly for a defensive purpose. So it's a little bit unfair to compare attack stat outputs with other free-to-play units that are more attack-oriented. But I think it was definitely worthwhile to just kind of see how this guy does in an updated setting. Of course, this is the Boss Rush 8 setting, so it's one of the newest Boss Rush events available. Now, you could probably certainly test it in the Infinite Dragon Ball History event, or maybe possibly the Legendary Goku event, but with the team setup as it is, especially considering that Kid Gohan unit is included, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Probably, I believe, I would expect Gohan to take quite a bit of damage, honestly. So with that in mind, probably Boss Rush is probably a relevant setting to kind of test this guy out. But defense-wise, I mean, he's still doing pretty good. But I think depending on the enemy with the super attacks, Piccolo can definitely take some heat for that. Yeah. I mean, it's a really old LR, so at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I think it's always interesting to see how some of the units do, especially with the newer categories introduced, and see how they hold up, in the newer setting of Dokkan battles. So it's always interesting to see this type of setup. So hopefully, a lot of you guys are wondering the same thing and actually enjoying the content and being able to see firsthand how this guy's doing on the newest category. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's all about seeing how outdated units do in a newer setting and see if they still hold up, and go from there. I will say I'm actually quite disappointed now that the Future Gohan's Dokkan Fest banner is out and the celebration started. I'm actually very disappointed that the Tech Future Gohan never got an EZA. I was really hoping that would happen, and honestly, the time for that to happen is perfect right now. So I have no idea why they decided not to do that, but who knows. The other one too is the Strength Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. This guy really needs some sort of improvement. He doesn't even have a Dokkan Awaken, so a lot of opportunity in terms of units that could get improvements. It's just a matter of when they roll that out. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time, but hopefully they do it sooner than later, honestly, because they could use extra help. And it's always fun, to be able to run some of these older units on the newer categories, and especially when they're able to hold up and do pretty well. It's always a good thing. But it's one of those things where it's entirely up to Bandai and Akatsuki. So we'll see what the deal is with that. Honestly, Gohan actually came in clutch with the evasion there. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so wrapping up against the Tech Frieza unit, and of course Piccolo will have type advantage throughout this battle, so I think that's a good way to set, end it out and close it, and see what kind of defensive effects or attack outputs that this guy produces. So 1.5 million. I think it's the highest I've seen so far. So definitely not bad, especially for this unit. I think with the crit, you could have probably gotten a little over 2 million probably with, I think with the critical hits you get 40% extra damage on top of what a normal attack damage output would be. So yeah, definitely interesting. And this guy's doing okay at the end of the day. It's probably the best aggregation of the results, honestly, is this guy's okay. He's not fantastic, he's not great. He can defend pretty decent. Still does take some pretty decent hits with the super attacks, especially against some of the newer Dokkan event bosses. But outside of that, he's doing all right. So unfortunately, in this case, Gowasu and Zamasu decided to add ki to themselves once the passive activated, and the Dokkan mode basically got stolen over. So yeah, well, unfortunately they get the Dokkan mode attack, but either way, let's just see how Piccolo does, and then we'll close things out here. Like I said, hopefully you guys are wondering the same thing and being able to see it firsthand. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and appreciate it, or whatever the correct terminology is for it. But as always, I do appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. I definitely do have some more planned out for the rest of the day and weekend, so definitely stay tuned for that. As always, I'll catch you guys later, and we'll talk again. All right, peace out.